It all began on a sunny Saturday morning in Atlanta, a day that should have been ordinary, but turned into a nightmare I'll never forget. I'm Monique Harris, 52 years old black woman, a successful interior designer with a small but loyal clientele, a life I built from scratch after my parents passed away. I was independent, confident, and thought I could trust my family. But I was about to learn the painful truth. Sometimes, the people you love the most can betray you in ways you never imagined. Growing up, my younger sister, Janelle, and I had always been close. People often said we were two peas in a pod, inseparable since childhood. But over the years, subtle things began to change. Small lies, secretive phone calls, excuses that didn't add up. At first, I brushed them off. I didn't want to believe that my own sister could ever do me harm. The first red flag appeared after our father passed. He left a sizable inheritance. Something he always said would help both of us live comfortably. Especially since he had worked so hard for us, I assumed, as did everyone, that we'd split it fairly. But Janelle had always been envious of me, my career, my relationships, even my wardrobe. I thought it was harmless jealousy, the kind that sisters sometimes feel. But it was far more dangerous than I realized. One afternoon, I received a call from our family lawyer. His tone was unusual, hesitant, almost awkward. "Monique, I need to clarify some details about your father's will." My stomach sank. I had expected routine paperwork, signatures, minor adjustments, but what he said next felt like a punch to my chest. "Your sister, Janelle, has contested the will. And, according to the court documents, she's already managed to gain control over the majority of the estate." I remember feeling my world tilt. My hands shook, my heart raced. I had always thought Janelle would be fair. I had always trusted her. But suddenly, I realized I had been naive. She had spent years carefully planning, manipulating, and lying not just to me, but to everyone around us. I decided to confront her, hoping there was some explanation. I drove to her apartment, a sleek, modern loft that she had furnished with my father's money that should have been partly mine. She greeted me with a smile that felt rehearsed, practiced. "Monique, I didn't expect to see you today. I didn't waste time with small talk. Janelle, why? Why did you do this?" Her smile didn't falter. Instead, she leaned against the counter, sipping her expensive latte like I was some irrational intruder. "Do you really want to know the truth? Or are you just going to cry about it like you always do?" Her words cut deeper than I expected. For a moment, I froze, unsure how to respond, but then the anger surged. "You lied to me, schemed against me, and took what was mine. All for what? Money? Power?" She shrugged, cold and unapologetic. "I did what I had to do. You were always the favorite anyway. People respect you. I needed to claim something for myself before it was too late." It wasn't just betrayal, it was premeditated, calculated, and I was not expecting from my black sister, as we blacks are more emotionally connected people. Everything I had trusted in her was gone, replaced by this ruthless ambition I had never imagined. In the weeks that followed, my life became a whirlwind of legal battles, sleepless nights, and unbearable stress. Every phone call, every message from Janelle felt like a trap. She was enjoying this. I could tell my pain, my confusion, my helplessness. She even managed to turn some of our family members against me, painting me as greedy or ungrateful. I wanted revenge. Of course, I thought about public exposure, lawsuits, even confronting her friends to expose the truth. But something inside me changed. I realized that fighting fire with fire wouldn't bring me peace. Instead, I decided to focus on myself, my business, and my life. I refused to let her actions define me. It wasn't easy. Every time I walked past her loft in the city, seeing her luxurious lifestyle that I had helped fund in my own way, I felt a pang of despair. But I also reminded myself she may have taken the inheritance, but she could never take my integrity, my creativity, or my inner strength. Months passed, and slowly I rebuilt. I poured myself into work, taking on bigger projects, expanding my interior design firm, and connecting with clients who appreciated me not for my wealth, but for my vision and dedication. And in the process, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had. Then, a twist I hadn't expected, Janelle's empire began to crumble. She had overextended herself, made risky investments with the inheritance money, and alienated the very people who had supported her. Slowly, the tables turned. I watched from a distance, not with glee, but with quiet satisfaction that karma, in its own way, had caught up with her. Through it all, I learned an invaluable lesson. Betrayal, even by those closest to us, doesn't have to destroy us. It can become the fuel that propels us forward, makes us stronger, wiser, and more resilient. I may have lost a large inheritance, but I regained something far more important: my sense of self, my independence, and the knowledge that no one can truly take that away from me. Today, at 52, I'm thriving, not just surviving. I mentor young women in business, share my story of betrayal and resilience, and remind others that life will throw curveballs, even from people we trust most. But how we respond, how we rise above is what defines us. Janelle, she's still in my life, though at a distance. We occasionally exchange pleasantries at family events, but the bond we once had is irreparably broken. And that's okay. Because sometimes the greatest inheritance we can receive isn't money, it's the wisdom, strength, and courage we cultivate in the face of life's deepest betrayals.